Broadcasting from Baltimore, Maryland, this is 5x3 Radio, where strength is for everyone. I'm your host, Emily Sokolinski, owner of 5x3 Training, a strength and conditioning gym in Baltimore, along with my co-host, Rebecca Fishburne, founder of Cornerstone Strength Maryland. Each week, Rebecca and I will discuss the ins and outs of strength training, why there is a no one-size-fits-all approach, and why strength is so important in our daily lives. Thanks for spending some time with us today. Now, on with the show.
Do you have a very good microphone?
Yes.
So when you talk with your hands on the desk, we've already discussed this, but I am going to tell you also, as soon as you got that microphone, every time you're talking and you're rubbing your pants, that comes through the microphone too. So stop rubbing your pants.
You can hear this?
Yes. It's like you're sandpapering things.
It's because my hands are
because you've been deadlifting.
I've been deadlifting. I've got calluses. Okay, I'm going to sit on my hands like this, and I'll just shrug. I'll shrug. Okay. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to 5x3 Radio. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It is now 2023. We are just a couple days into 2023. I already feel like it's been months into 2023.
It was a long holiday season.
It was a long holiday. It was. It's still kind of, we have my niece and nephew are here in town, so they're still on holiday. So I feel like it's still kind of, somewhat of a holiday. But I tell you what, the schedule tonight at the gym looks awfully busy. Everybody's getting ready, getting back into it. And I think that would be that's something that I think we all think about in the beginning of the year, right? Getting back into things, getting started again.
I mean, you're talking about the gym being crowded, and that's almost like a beginning of the year, a January joke. Like there's no available space in the gym up until St. Patrick's Day or something.
Yeah. I mean, you see it all over the place, right? Everyone's like, okay, January 1st, you won't be able to find a spot on the treadmill because everyone's going to be taking over, but that's okay. In 2 weeks, no one will be there. And I used to joke about that in the past. It sounds kind of corny and almost, what's the word I want to use, in describing people like that. It's very off-putting, right? It's very dismissive.
Yeah. Well,
I don't want to use that. I don't want to think that that's really what people think. And if you think like that, what is that going to say about you?
Yeah. I saw a really nice post that another trainer, Chris Haggett, had put up. And he was sort of talking about, hey, we can do better. Let's welcome people to our gym instead of making them feel like they're in our way.
Yeah.
And even if their enthusiasm for something new and different, like if that's new and different for them and they're not normally in the gym and you think of that as your space or your territory, even if their enthusiasm for that only lasts a couple of weeks, good for them for getting some additional movement or additional strength in their life, even for that short period of time.
Exactly.
Maybe that's just a little bit of something that they can tuck away in the back of their mind to think, oh yeah, I can do that. I'll come back to that.
Yeah. It's like kudos to somebody for trying something different, trying something new. I mean, it's very intimidating to do something different, to try something new. I think, even people who come to my gym, we're happy, we're smiling, happy-go-lucky people at 5x3, but it's still an intimidating experience. To walk into a gym that doesn't look like a commercial gym. It's got all these racks around and bars, and it's like chalk everywhere, and it's like
cold.
It's cold. It's kind of like it's cold.
And industrial looking.
And it can be, and then and then all these people start smiling when you walk in, but it's hard to start something new. And I know that at my gym, my clients, some of my clients have asked me, "Oh, are you going to expect some new people this year?" I'm like, "Oh, we're really not that kind of gym where people just sign up." Because they want to, they decide that, hey, I want to use a barbell this year. Some people do, but they like it. They say to me, I see a lot of new faces here. I see a lot of new faces lately. And these are people who they were just new like 4 or 5 months ago. But now the other people are new people. So they're excited. They like seeing new people. That means more people interested in this. that means the gym thriving, right? That means,
Right.
oh, it's going to stay around still for a while. Like, Emily's not going anywhere. And that's important to them. Like this becomes their home. This becomes it's their
Well,
community.
it's because they've become ambassadors of barbell training, right? They
Exactly.
want to share the joy.
Yeah. And they like it. They like seeing the new faces. I mean, I know that some of my clients will come back, they're like, I don't recognize anybody here. And that's good. That's a good thing. I mean, it's, I have people who, people come and go all the time. And I have my clients who've been with me for years. But and whenever somebody comes and tries something different, I'm like, I'm glad you're here. And when anybody ever shows up, like hasn't been there for a while because life has gotten in the way and they're a little nervous to get back, first thing I say is, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to see you.
Well, I mean, like you're talking about at your gym, there's, I think, definitely a sense of community and people know each other. So when there are new faces, it's noticeable. Like there's so many people who don't have that gym community that don't actually even maybe know that that's an option in a gym.
Right.
If they belong to one of those big box Globo gyms and nobody knows who they are, they walk in the door, they scan their card, nobody greets them.
Right.
Go in, do their workout, not speak to a soul.
And that's, that's fine for some people. Some people want that. Some people like that. They like that anonymity. They don't want anybody talking to them. They want to just, get in and get out.
And sometimes it's just the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes even social people like that on particular days.
But I think many people, I mean, I heard one of my clients saying something about, I could have a gym in my basement and then I go to my basement. But what fun is that? The reason I'm
going to tell you, I have a gym in my basement and it is getting very busy and crowded in the new year also.
But see, that's the thing. It's like you've got people coming into your basement. No one would be coming into his basement. So he says, I come to the gym and when I'm doing X, I'm very focused and serious. But once it's done, I want to talk to everybody. I want to see everybody. I want to see what they're up to. I want to watch them train. There's a sense of, of camaraderie, and not everybody's going to find a gym like mine, or or maybe a CrossFit gym, which CrossFit gyms are notorious for being very community, oriented. But they're also
like that's a bad thing.
No. I mean, I shouldn't say notorious, just, known for, I should say known for. But there are plenty of other gyms that are kind of like mine, maybe not barbell, centric, but like mine that are small gyms, where they have a community. I'm thinking of Mindy's gyms down in like the Pasadena area. Yeah. Big community of lifters there, of women there. And they have a huge, she's got a following there of people. And that's kind of what I think sometimes people should maybe look for. If they're looking for an experience, they're looking for something new, and it's going to be something that they've never tried before, finding a gym, finding an atmosphere that is welcoming. It may not be the commercial gym down the street from you. You might have to go a little further to find that. Or maybe it is the commercial gym. Maybe there's somebody who, you meet and you meet them and they're friendly and they kind of can help you. I mean, it's always nice when someone does come up to you and kind of says, "Hi, I'm so-and-so, can I help you find something? You look new. What do you need? What do you need?" I mean, even at my gym, people introduce themselves constantly all the time, but going to sit somewhere can be a little bit, tough.
We're sort of sidestepping.
We are
to the topic, which basically, so we're starting with a PSA, public service announcement.
Yes.
Be nice to the new people at your gym.
Which is important. I think it's important to be nice to the new people at your gym. I don't like seeing those posts about, no one, in about 2 weeks, don't worry, your treadmill will be free again. Stop it.
Be nice. Don't be a jerk.
Don't be a jerk. Don't be a jerk. Okay.
If there's new people at your gym moving more, that's great.
So
which gets to the topic.
The topic at hand. Thank you.
The topic we were sort of, this whole, why are there more new people at the gym?
Right.
New Year's resolution, the whole fitness industry marketing slogan, exactly. New year, new you.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
Which I liked. Rebecca sent me a new year, new year.
Farm humor.
Yeah, gross farm humor. Was it a lamb?
Oh, it was a ewe.
Oh, it was a ewe having another ewe. New year, new you.
Yeah, a sheep having
a sheep having a ewe.
Kidding. No, sorry, lambing.
Lambing. So new year, new you. But and Rebecca and I were discussing, I mean, the new year, new you, new year, new me. It sounds cheesy, it sounds corny, everybody kind of throws it out there, but I I was telling her I heard a word the other day. One of my members was talking to me, and she had recently listened to wasn't a podcast, was a pastor speaking at their local church. But he's talking about, instead of thinking of, a redo or redo over, or, something about the past, thinking more in terms of a reset, of resetting. So I think of like new year, new year reset. It doesn't really come across the mouth
Yeah, New
or the
Year, New
tongue
You, sort of, yeah. A little
as, but
snazzy
it's,
sounding.
but a reset, hitting a reset button. I like that. I've been using that a lot lately in talking to people, just in some of my posts that I've made. We wanted to talk about, well, what does reset mean? What can a reset button mean for people, not just now on January 1st,
Hmm.
but on March 1st,
Yeah.
on May
So
1st?
one of the things you just mentioned was like the difference between looking back,
Yes.
right? Living in the past, oh, I wish I had done this differently, and kind of living in regret
Mm-hmm.
at not having acted a certain way, or said a certain thing, or
Right.
been a certain way. And so living in the past in regret at not having done a particular thing, versus the reset where you need to look back to get your lessons learned.
Yes.
How can I do this? But then look ahead. How can I do this differently? How can I do this better? And that's the process that people get all jazzed up about at the new year.
Mm-hmm.
And in large part, it is kind of exciting. New year, you're going to set up some
Right.
new goals for yourself. There's a lot of, I don't know, not pressure, but just normalization of
Yes.
that as you hit the new year. It's a cultural thing. You've got lots of camaraderie or other people around you also talking similarly.
Yep.
April rolls around and there aren't that many people talking about, well, next month my goals are
Right.
this whole, how do I sort of look ahead and do better is, you talking about community at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more community support
Mm-hmm.
for setting those sorts of goals, for resetting as you enter into January.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Diego always talks to people, and people talk about like their goals and what they want to do now. It's like, that's great. I want to know where you are 3 months from now and 4 months from now. And so that reset button can happen anytime, right? You can start something, you can be consistent with it. A roadblock may come up, life will get in the way. That's okay. Once you're over that, hit that button again. You're back on track. I think it's not trying to get back to where you were, but trying to move forward from where you are now. And that's something that we don't always think about, just in our own lives. But our training can operate the same way. We don't always have to push the same program. We don't always have to do the same thing. We don't always have to work towards the same goal from last year. And I don't mean like, changing up your goals all the time, but someone said to me, well, how come back in August I was doing this and now well, that was August. It's December now. Things are different. Things have changed. Life has happened in the past couple months. Your body has changed. You're a few months older now. I mean, all these things can occur. And then once your mindset goes from the past and trying to redo and recreate that to the present and hopefully the future of, well, what can I do now? What's in control? What do I have control over now? I have control over this. I have control over where I am. I'm not going to worry about what I used to be able to do. I'm going to think about what I can do now. And I've done that. I've constantly thought about like, well, if I just done, or if I'd said, or, no. Today is today, tomorrow is tomorrow, and next month is next month. And I think that idea of a reset, instead of a redo or a do-over, is so much more positive for you and positive for those people around you too, because you're not constantly dwelling on the what ifs, the past. I've had to learn my lesson with that this week, just in my own personal life, regardless of training. But I think that will help my training, because if I can think about calming down in one aspect of my life, I can have more focus on another aspect. So I kind of, it's a win-win there.
Yeah.
But that can be very hard for people to put aside, especially because the marketing is so much like this is, all in one, right?
Well, it's a great sales opportunity,
Right.
right? Like it's gyms can expand their memberships or new products or new planners or agenda type things or just new programs.
And I think it doesn't have to start in January. It can start in February.
Well, we talked
You're,
a while ago
yeah,
about different types of goals, right? Like the
yeah,
long range goal, the mid range goal, and the like maybe the weekly steps, right? And so it's like when the new year rolls around, that's a good time to think about. I forget what terminology we were using
yeah,
in that podcast, but like the big picture goal,
yeah,
right? You might have something that is not a smart goal. It's not
right.
necessarily clearly defined, but then you break that down into smaller chunks. And if you're at the start of a calendar year, okay, that's nice and neat. And you can say, here's what I accomplished in
Mm-hmm.
2023
Mm-hmm.
and sort of, I'm going to focus on getting healthier. Okay, what does that mean?
Exactly.
So for January, I'm going to start with something I'm comfortable with. And I'm going to have 4 weeks where I focus on making sure that I stay hydrated
Right.
or drink X number of hydro flasks of water
Right.
every day or
Right.
that kind of thing. Because that's an easy first step. Got that down for maybe 4 weeks is too
Right.
long for that goal, but like 2 weeks, got that nailed
Yeah.
down. Now
Yeah.
let's add something else.
Small
And
goals.
yeah, so those smaller goals, just kind of building on
Yes.
each other. And then, it's convenient to look back at the end of that calendar year.
Yes.
I look at all these changes I've been able to implement and maintain. But yeah, like you're saying, that doesn't have to be a January start date.
No, and I think that's what we think about. We always think that January 1st, now it's now or never. But I put something up recently I saw it on Instagram and I put it on my story, and I'm trying to find it now. And it was a billboard. January 1st isn't the only day you can start over.
Mm,
And I saw that and I just took a screenshot of it, right?
yeah.
Because that's so true. And I think that marketing wise, people push for January 1st. And that's why everybody just heads to the gym, in the beginning of January, not realizing there's February, there's March, there's April. You don't have to start now. You can start when you really feel like your schedule allows for it. You've kind of thought about it. It can be in pieces. It can be maybe you go once a week and then you go twice a week in a couple weeks. And then by the time you know it, you're only 3 times a week at the end of the month. You have to you start small, like you were saying, and it doesn't even have to start the first. It can start the 10th
Mm-hmm.
or the 15th.
Well, and the other idea I think that pulls up in my mind, what is the start date, right? Like sometimes, even within a day, a 24-hour span,
Right.
right? Like somebody might get off to a crappy start in the morning,
Right.
and then they figure, oh, the whole day is shot. Like
Right.
that is not helpful thinking either. Like where we imagine a start to be doesn't necessarily have to coincide with the calendar or even the sun's schedule,
Right.
right? So say you wake up, you are running late, you forget to eat breakfast or you don't have time for it, you're starving, you end up eating, I don't know, I had somebody say like they had eaten like an entire cheesecake, and then it was like, okay, now the whole day is shot, so now I'm just going to have ice cream and this sleeve of Oreos and
You
whatever.
hear that? Yeah, you hear this all the time with weight loss, right?
Mhm.
With eating, like with nutrition, trying to get onto a good nutrition, build good nutrition habits, or starting a diet, right? The whole day is shot. Then, oh, I went off my diet because I ate some cookies. Well, that's it. I'm just going to give up. And people do the same with their training. Oh, I missed a training day, or oh, I had a shitty squat day. Well, that's it. My whole day is shot. I'm ruined. I'm a mess. I'm bad.
It's
I don't know
that
what I'm
all
doing.
or nothing thinking that you need to get away from.
It's that, all you now, as opposed to no, a little bit of you now, and then a little bit of you now, and then a little bit and a little bit. I saw someone and someone else post something recently, with in regards to the new year. How many of you, and it was somebody I respect, how many of you, decided, didn't have weight loss as your New Year's resolution? Well, It's okay. I mean, I don't know why do we have to put people down for wanting to have their New Year's resolutions be their New Year's resolutions? If someone's New Year's resolution is weight loss, okay, fine, great. What is their weight loss goal? Maybe it's weight loss in the sense of, they're doing it because they want to have surgery in a couple months, like one of my clients who was going to have surgery. So she needed to lose weight to have that surgery.
Mhm.
Again, people they mean well. I think they mean well when they say
So
things
like
like that.
you're saying the post where somebody was saying that, like they were disparaging weight loss as a goal for
How,
a
well, almost
person.
like almost like every woman always wants to lose weight. Like that's a New Year's resolution for everybody. So how many of you started the New Year's off not wanting to lose weight?
Because then you're a rebel, that makes you so much better.
Yeah. So, but my thing is, what if what if that person wants to lose weight? What if that person, has come to a realization that they met with their doctor and they have some illness that
Well, yeah, I
requires
mean,
them.
like you're
It's
saying,
like,
there's
who cares?
so many reasons why a person might want or need
But this constant
weight
like,
loss.
yeah, this constant like, if you made a resolution to lose weight, you're bad. Why? What if I was really just to gain weight? You know, it's that person's resolution. It's that person's goal. It's a, what? This year I'm going to try this. This year I'm going to, try to drink more water. I'm going to try to substitute diet soda for regular soda. I'm going to try to, it could be anything. If it's not harming the person, if it's not going to harm you, does it matter if their New Year's resolution is weight loss? My New Year's resolutions for many years was cut the cheese or watch the cheese.
I feel like, yeah, we've talked about the
We
cheese
talk about
before.
that all the time
You
because
and the cheese.
it was always watching the cheese. I embrace the cheese now. I eat the cheese when I want to, and I mean I don't make New Year's resolutions anymore. But in my mind, I know that a couple of my clients have said the same thing, and Diego just said it recently. The holidays are one where you start to indulge a little bit more. We were
Mhm.
talking about that before the break, and I did indulge, and now I'm starting to slowly, what's the word? Not indulge, or
Well,
you know,
it's like a process of putting the normal guardrails back in
yes,
place, right? Like you
yeah.
can't go through life always indulging in all of the cheese on the charcuterie board or whatever,
But I
right? So
had, but
it's
I
like
yeah, but I had
people
the holiday.
have
Yes,
normal limits that they sometimes exceed over the holidays as part of
and
the way they
yeah. I d-
celebrate
and
the event.
I decided for the month of December I wasn't going to track a thing. I
Yeah.
didn't track one thing. I enjoyed myself. I had a good show for Nutcracker, which next year you're going to make sure you come. I will
Yes.
get tickets
I
for.
had no idea the tickets would sell out in three
They
days.
actually didn't sell out. They had
Don't
tickets
tell me
available.
this.
I know.
Don't tell
Believe
me
me,
that.
we were all mad about this. But don't worry, next year it'll be bigger. My part will be bigger next year too. It was previously going to be bigger
Because of
next
the
year
cheese.
because of the cheese. But and then what did I do today? Like, what did I do today? Today, back to work. And I thought to myself, okay, I need a little bit of help. I'm going to, kind of put the stuff in my phone, track today, see how today feels so I can get back into a normal routine. The holidays are past. The food was delicious. I enjoyed myself. I'm still enjoying myself. I can still enjoy myself, but, back to the, back to
Back to
work again.
reality. The
Back to
vacation
reality.
doesn't
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
forever.
But I think, learning to do that is very healthy. And you can also recognize, ooh, I've had one too many cookies. I can feel it in my lips. Either I can feel it in my lips like they're going really well, or I can feel it in my lips because my belt's really tight right now. But that's okay.
Or your pull up is now a weighted pull up.
Yeah, yeah. You have the power. If you have been training regularly and you've been very consistent with your, with your nutrition and your eating and you can get back to that very easily, right? If you have a plan, you will get back to that. And sometimes people have to just decide they're going to make a plan to do that, and that's okay. It's okay to have
So
that plan of this is going to be the start of something different for me, something new. And I hope that they succeed. I hope that they actually have someone who can help them achieve that goal. If their goal is, weight loss, or their goal is strength gain or weight gain, whatever it is, let that be If that
So
is
we're
the
kind of
impotence, let it be.
talking about like New
A
Year's
couple different
resolutions
things.
fall
Yes.
into two different categories. One is maybe a New Year's resolution where really what you're doing is getting back to your normal way of doing things,
Exactly. Right.
right? Like for a period of time over the holidays, celebrating for you meant like relaxing
Right.
the I don't know, maybe not the exercise rules, but some of the dietary
Yeah.
rules or
Yeah.
just the ways that you normally do things. And so a lot of times it's just a matter of resetting in terms of like correcting a
That's
course
right.
correction, right?
Exactly.
So, and I think for a lot of people, then something that's described loosely in common terminology as weight loss might be a way of a shorthand saying to someone, really what I'm trying to do with my New Year's resolution is get back to my
Exactly.
regular way of doing
That's
things.
right. That's right.
And in that sense, we're talking initially about not wanting to look back and live in the past, but like that's if it's like kicking yourself for having done something a certain way, whatever. If you're talking about a New Year's resolution that's not necessarily a course correction, but one that is, I want to try something new,
Mm-hmm.
then I think what you need to do is be intentional about that and not just approach that with magical thinking like it's a new year, I've made a resolution, I'm going to do something new and be a new person. That's when you sort of have to look at that. If that's where I want to end up by December of 2023, how am I going to get there?
Right.
And how am I going to get there through small, manageable changes that I can maintain, that I can feel successful for having accomplished, instead of trying to do everything different all at once. And so that's like you're saying, if going to the gym is a brand new thing for a person, then maybe you start out with the goal of this month, I'm going to make sure I get to the gym once a week. And another day I'm going to just have more movement in my life somehow. And then, sort of slowly ease into it in a way that feels comfortable where you can be successful at it, as opposed to just thinking all of a sudden I'm going to take on a whole new lifestyle and I'm going to eat differently and sleep differently and train differently or even just start training. But yeah, just because it's January and you've made a resolution.
Yeah, and I think that, people get, they get shoved down their throats, you've got to do this, you've got to join a gym, you don't have to join a gym. I mean, I think that you should think about what is your priority right now? If you're making health your priority, what are some ways to make health your priority? Is it eating better? Is it finding a coach to help you, whether it's a nutrition coach or a strength coach or a personal trainer to help give you accountability? Is that what you need? Do you need accountability? What exactly is your goal? Just to move more? Maybe it's just walking. Maybe you just need to start taking a walk every day or every other day. Getting up from your office chair and taking a walk at lunchtime. This whole idea of like, new year and you better, go out there and grab it all and do everything you can because you don't have a chance. You have a chance in the next month too to do something also, but think about what's going to fit into your lifestyle too. What's going to fit into your schedule? What is going to be the best plan for you? I like when people come to my gym, and they have really done their research, right? They want to do this. They want to learn how to use a bar. They want to get stronger. They've been trying it on their own. They've been doing something on their own. They want to invest in it, and they want to do it right. Is this the place for me? Right? I had somebody email me and want to know, is this a place where I can get stronger? And I was like, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well, yes, it is. I actually even said,
that's been like the tagline.
if you're looking to get, you've come to the right place. I actually said that you've come to the right place, but you shouldn't just blindly go into something. You should think about, like, is this going to fit with what I want to accomplish? Maybe it's yoga, maybe it's cycling, maybe it's running. It could be anything that gets you moving. For us, of course, strength is, the basis of everything. So for us, we're a little biased, but and many people have also discovered that, wow, I've read enough articles, I've read enough that strength training is kind of important, and I should start doing this, but I'm nervous and I don't know where to start. Can you help me? Think about what you want to do. Think about what that reset button looks like for you. Don't let other people try to be in your ear about what you should do. Let it be what you want to do. And if getting stronger is your goal, seek out a strength coach. If weight loss is your goal, seek out a nutritionist. There's nothing wrong with deciding that you want to be a better you, whatever that looks like. It starts now, because you have the capacity to control that now and not worry about what happened before.
I think in an ideal scenario, that sort of self-reflection would be the sort of thing that people would do on a regular basis anyway.
Right.
What have I done in the past? What worked for me? What didn't work for me?
Exactly.
What did I like? What didn't I like?
Yeah.
About how that turned out for me? What can I do differently in the future? And how am I going to do that differently in the future?
That's right.
That plan. And January rolls around and it's a good opportunity, maybe because after a month of celebrations, people just feel like, or a month of family gatherings and too much food and too much wine and too much socializing with people, for those of us who are introverts,
right
like the desire to do something different is pretty apparent, and but like that can happen at any point.
Yeah, I always think of January as, the next day is just another day of training for me. And I didn't used to think of it that way, but it is. But it's also another day. It's not just another day of training. It's another day to hopefully get someone else, interested in this, and try to encourage more people to do this. But this will happen next month too. I'll get people in March. I'll get people in April.
And I think the thing that's interesting about you and I having this conversation, we've talked about our training in terms of you and I being very process oriented and not so much results oriented. So like going into the gym and having that be part of our regular routine, it's part of the way that we live our lives.
That's right.
And, whether or not the absolute weight on the bar reaches a certain amount is not necessarily our main priority. So we're talking about New Year's resolutions pretty similarly. And I think there are people who are more results oriented.
Yes.
The people who, want to hit these numbers with their lifts, who probably do this like evaluation, this introspection on a more regular basis, maybe especially than I'm used to doing. Maybe not, I don't want to speak for you, but this sort of like, okay, this is what I did this past month and it got me to this point. How am I going to do things differently?
Right.
So, all of the, very organized people's planners, that's a whole other world that I'm starting to explore, where they tell you like, what are your priorities today? How does that fit in? Like you have to plan, what are your priorities for this month? Break it down by week, break it down by day. I mean, that's the same stuff we've talked about before in terms of goals in the gym. Every month it starts new. Every week it starts new. Every day.
I have a friend who lives in New York and goes to, he's a dancer and he's a DJ and he's all over the place, right, performing. So he started going to Orange Theory and he loves it. And he was going like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days a week about a year ago. And then he injured himself, had like a little hamstring injury and, stopped. And then once things kind of got better, it just got harder to get back, and it got harder and harder and harder and harder. And finally, I just, I convinced him, I think it was like last spring. Yeah. It was like towards the end of almost beginning of summer. I was like, look, just when you come back from your trip, just start with once a week. Because it was more like, I can't go because I can't do everything. I'm like, that's okay. You can go and you can do
Glass half
this,
full, glass, yeah, all or
right? I
nothing.
say you can do this. What can you do? Well, there's my PT work. I'm like, great. When instead of doing the X, when they do this, you're going to do your PT work, and then you're going to go blah blah. And he started with once a week, and he was texting me, letting me know he was going. And then once a week, I think became like twice a week. I don't think he's gone 3 times a week yet, but it was the accountability, right? And he said to me, I don't want to have to text you every time. I'm like, you're one of my best friends. I've known you for almost 27 years, 28 years. I said, I think you can text me and let me know that you've gone to class. And just giving him that permission to like go once a week became, I can't believe I wasn't doing this. I miss this so much. And you don't have to do everything. You can do a little bit, and then a little bit becomes a little bit more and a little bit more. And that's how I think people need to approach even starting something in the new year, or starting something new. Like you were saying, start slowly, start bit by bit. Start with, a little bit, for 2 weeks I'm going to do X. And then the next 2 weeks I want to do Y. Or I'm going to go to the gym and it's really hard, but I'm going to go to one class a week. And now I'm going to start with 2 classes. Oh, wow, 2 classes turns into 2 classes. Plus, I found this great trainer and I want to work with this person twice a week kind of thing. I mean, and next thing you know, it's becoming a more consistent routine and it becomes part of your lifestyle. But you can't do it all at once. It has to be in small doses. I don't think anything, I think anything that you try to go balls to the wall all at once doesn't work out, right? You just crash and burn.
Yeah.
You crash and burn. That's with anything, right? You got to start slowly, or else you'll overwhelm yourself. And next thing you know, you don't want to go at all, which is what kind of happened with my friend, right? He was going all the time, like 5-6 days a week, and then he hurt himself, and then he couldn't do everything, so he just stopped doing all of it. Well, that was the wrong approach, and I think he realized that. He realized that, but he needed to be told, look, you can start back. I know it's going to be intimidating to start back. I know you can't do everything. You do what you can. And now, he's doing more than what he was doing before. And I think he just overdid it too. Like you can't go 6 days a week.
Yeah, too much too soon, too fast.
You're too much too soon, too fast. And even though you love it, you still have to take those things and do it. I mean, people ask me how often do you train. I say I train 4 days a week. I do a 4-day split. But I train 4 days a week and I bike occasionally, so I'm there. So I'm basically, I guess, 5 days, but it's 4 days of strength training. That's pretty much what I do. And I have a very specific, routine that I do. And then outside of that, I walk, I hang out, I knit, right? But I don't, if I did 6 days a week, I'd kill myself. I mean, I almost killed myself last Friday with my workout. And Diego's like, yeah, that might have been a little too much. I was fine the next day, but man, I was sore on Friday.
Sometimes it's easy to get carried away if you don't have it sort of planned out ahead of time.
Yeah, so slowly build up. So I think, what we're trying to say is, in the new year, for those of us who are listening to this and maybe you're kind of off track with your routine because of the holidays, it's okay. Just get back on track. Just hit that reset button. And it doesn't have to happen this week or next week. It can happen when your schedule allows it to happen. When you decide it can happen. But sit down with yourself and tell yourself when is that reset button going to be hit? And I can always hit it. My clients always know that if they have they have a couple weeks off, they come back. Hey, I'm glad to see you. How are you doing? Let's look at your logbook. Okay, last time you were here, you did this. That's okay. Here's what we're going to do today. And there's this kind of feeling of like, okay, I can do this. There's always a reset button. It's not how come you haven't been here? Why haven't you been here? What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Reset and then find the appropriate entry point. And also if you're trying something new, also find the appropriate entry point.
That's it. Always. And it has to come from you. And then maybe you need to meet with somebody. Maybe there's that accountability. Tell yourself, I can't do this alone.
Well, accountability and also permission, right?
Exactly.
Like, so the permission to hit the reset button or to find the entry ramp in a place that might not be at the level of your expectation based on past performance, or
Right.
expectation based on what's in somebody else's Instagram feed or whatever. And sometimes, if you've internalized those messages, it's helpful to have somebody outside saying like, no, this is not a good place for you to start. We're going to start here. Well, that doesn't seem like enough. It's more than it was.
Exactly.
So that is enough.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
we'll see how your body processes that, and then we'll add more.
Exactly. But I think people have to, if they understand that there's always a chance to, to reset and start again. And we don't want to call it a do-over or a redo, because that's then thinking about like what I used to be able to do. Forget about that. Here's what we can do now. Here's what you can control now.
It's like the mulligan. That's like, I screwed up.
That's right. Right. This is a moving forward. This is a starting here and going to that, 2 weeks later I'm here, and 3 weeks later I'm here, and then 6 months later, where am I? Right. And even after 6 months, you can always hit a reset. So I really like that when I heard that from my member. And it just kind of like, it really stuck with me and resonated with me. And I've been using that a lot because it's a lot more
well, I mean, now I'm thinking about reset in terms of like, you get a new lifter on their NLP, right? And you get to a certain point where you've pushed it too far, right? Yeah. You're talking about your holiday celebrating, you've pushed it for the month, you need to reset.
That's it. And it doesn't say anything about you and your training and your strength, and it's none of that. And I think keeping people thinking of that terms keeps them continuing to stay on track and to stay consistent and to train, right? Because if we have that mindset of like, well, I'm off and I might as well just stay off, it's really hard to get back on. It's hard to get back on track after that. You have to like do what I did with my friend, like pull on him, like, come on, you can do it. Just start with once a week and text me every time you do that, and I will text you back, I promise. And I did, and I did. I haven't heard from him in a while. I don't know if he listens to this podcast or not, but I'm going to have to text him and just say, hey, have you been to your classes recently? Just checking in, because life happens, and we know that. But again, February 1st, March 1st, October 1st, it doesn't matter. The new year is always when you decide to start again.
Or even like 1:00 in the afternoon on a Wednesday in the middle of the month.
Exactly. I love it when I hear from people I haven't seen in a while. And, it's going to be exciting to come into the gym tonight to see everybody, and I always have like this renewed energy, even though I've just seen people like 2 days ago. It doesn't matter. I see them again. And it's like, hey, another year and we're still here. I never thought I'd be so happy to like, have another year, especially since the past 2 years.
Yeah. Okay. So we're kind of winding down, but like, just, do you have any New Year's like traditions?
No.
So we always do, like Hoppin' John, the, black eyed peas and the greens.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was at the grocery store last minute buying those and ran into a neighbor like who had just never heard of that. I mean, like, you've heard of that, black eyed peas on New Year's Day?
No.
Oh. It's a thing.
What is it a thing for?
Good luck in the new year.
Really? I've never heard of that. No.
I think it's a Southern thing.
Maybe.
But anyway, that, and you're also supposed to, I guess I heard this was a Scottish tradition, which I didn't realize it was Scottish, but you're supposed to start the new year with a clean house.
Oh, well.
Clean house and debts paid off, or that's tough to do after.
Jack vacuumed. He vacuumed on Saturday, I believe. I think he was vacuuming Saturday afternoon, but he just vacuumed the downstairs, just the living area.
The clean house thing. I used to be able to do that when I was single.
Yeah. I'm laughing because we're walking up the stairs and Jay was like, oh my God, it's like tumbleweeds. The dust bunnies on the stairs. I'm like,
yeah, well, you should see ours because we've got like dog.
Oh yeah. Fluff. No, I'm like, clean house. Oh, I cleaned my nightstand with my shirt the other day. I got at least the dust up. But yeah, no New Year's traditions here.
Yeah.
No, no, I know. I mean, I think I tried to watch Die Hard on Christmas Eve, but we both fell asleep halfway through it. We fell asleep. It was 10 o'clock at night. Diego's sitting there with his eyes closed. I sat down next to him, like, gonna watch it. And all of a sudden, I found my eyes are closed. I'm thinking, okay,
Oh,
both of us are sitting here. It's 10 o'clock, trying to watch Die Hard, and we're both asleep. This is not good. All right. Anyways, I think that's a wrap for talking about what are some thoughts going into this new year, this 2023, and just in general, what does do New Year's bring to us and you make us think about? So I'm looking forward to this year. I have no idea what to expect. I just know that I have a strongman contest coming up in June.
that's exciting.
And I have to start thinking about that now, which I realized as my
You mean the Charm City?
yeah,
Or
my logbook, my last year's logbook reminded me I had notes, and I could see myself kind of going January, February, March, April. I'm like, oh my God, that's right, Charm City. I forgot we're doing it in June. I better start thinking about that now. So that's all I'm going to start thinking about is what's happening in come June. But no other real I don't know thoughts about the year. Just seeing every day as it comes. That's pretty much my motto these days. Every day is a new day. So I kind of just keep plugging away. What about you?
wait, what goals for the new year?
Goals, thoughts, plans?
I mean, I'm doing some new things at the State House, trying
Yeah,
that out.
that's very cool.
That's exciting. Um, and then trying to get back on track with food, nutrition. Um, and well, so I'm sort of excited about it. This is totally New Year's E,
Mm-hmm.
but I got a planner, an agenda. It's called the Resilience Agenda.
Huh.
And it's like focused on building and maintaining different aspects of mental health
Nice.
throughout the year.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the idea being that when the shit hits the fan, that is not the time to be working on building resilience.
Yes.
So there's different categories that you can work on and set a goal each month, for just positive mental health. So
Mm-hmm.
gratitude or social connection
Mm-hmm.
or,
Mm-hmm.
calm or, so different things every month to work on. So that's sort of like a big project for me
Like
for the
it.
year that definitely falls under the
Like it.
category of like a New Year's resolution,
Yep.
but also one where there's like a
Yeah.
new goal every
Yeah.
month where I can redefine the goal on a regular basis, but working towards a bigger picture.
Love it. Love
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Yeah. Love it. And who knows? I mean, I'll probably start changing my mind come February, March and thinking about other
Yeah,
things.
this year is going to be weird
but
though too, Emily, because it's like the last two at home
that's
are
right.
applying for college. This time next year, they will, if all things go
That's
as
right.
expected, they will be college students. Try and figure out what the oldest one is going to do. The only one whose trajectory is somewhat predictable is the middle one. Although she's talking about study abroad. I mean, who knows what's
Yep.
going to happen?
I know.
That's why I'm working on the resilience.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's why I say I could change my mind, but for right now, it's like today is Tuesday, and tomorrow something else might happen, and then next week, who knows what's going to happen? So I can't, all I can do is plan what I can control. What I can control. I can control the Strong Woman contest. I can control the camp we're going to probably have in April. I can control. I can plan a trip with Diego. And that's about it. So everything else is kind of like up in the air, which is kind of exciting and sometimes a little bit scary, but you kind of go with the flow. Thanks everybody for tuning in to our first podcast of the new year,
2023.
And we are looking forward to many, many more. If you have any questions or concerns, of course, always you can email me at emily@5by3.com, or you can email Rebecca at
cornerstonestrengthmaryland@gmail.com.
We are both happy to answer questions, concerns. If you've got a thought for a podcast, please send that to us as well. We'd love to hear from you and see if there are any topics for this upcoming year that you'd like us to discuss. And we'll probably go back through our archives and rehash some things. And we do promise to have Diego back on the podcast this year, because people seem to like when Diego's on, and we like having Diego on, and we talk about him a lot. So we plan to have him on again. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll be back in 2 weeks with a new podcast, and we hope to that you join us then. Thanks, Rebecca.
Take care.
Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to 5x3 Radio with Emily and Rebecca. If you like our show and want to know more about 5x3 training, please visit us at www.5, that's F-I-V-E, the letter X, the number 3.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram. To learn more about Rebecca, please visit her website, cornerstonestrengthmaryland.com. Thanks for listening, and have a great week.